Kevin Garnett pioneered the youth movement into the NBA.
People wanted him to fail. No one thought he could make it.
I was so ready to prove everybody wrong.
Beyond the Glory, next on Fox Sports Net.
They called him the Kid.
They cannot stop Kevin Garnett!
Pioneer of a youth movement. The professional leap of faith.
What a play!
If you knew Michael Jordan was going to be Michael Jordan, you'd draft him at 13. You just don't know.
My God, how can you be that good and be that young and be in the pros?
But what if the NBA revolution was ignited by pure chance?
And I see these cats fighting. Dang, he getting beat down.
I'm like, lynching. That's the South for you.
Had that not happened, would he have gone straight to the NBA?
Nothing nobody could have done to stop this young man.
A part of me was like, they getting the animal. A straight, untamed pit bull, that's what they get.
This is Kevin Garnett. Beyond the Glory.
Absolutely outstanding. Unbelievable.
There's as good as any bet on baseball.
Do you have anything to say to your fans?
October 1st, 2003. One day before the start of training camp.
I'm happy to know that I'm going to be in Minnesota for the rest of my life.
Kevin Garnett signs a 5-year contract extension with the team that drafted him straight out of high school.
I'm excited for the fans. I'm excited for the city. I'm excited, for real. Really, really excited. Hey, Abe said we can do anything right.
He's always kept some of that innocence. He came in as the kid, and he's now the man.
He's all of 27 years old.
With a one-handed hammer.
Oh, here comes another one.
What a night for Kevin Garnett.
He's in another world right now.
Kevin Garnett changed the game. This past year, there were 5 high school players drafted. It all began with Kevin Garnett.
He was not the first high school basketball player to turn pro. Just the first to make it look easy.
My life is like a story. Y'all feel me? You know, sometimes you go through hard things, and today might be difficult. But if you hang in there and continue to work and continue to strive and don't let things set you back, even though that's easier said than done, it's, you know, the circle's gonna come back around, you know. The sun always shining, it's just sometimes there's some clouds there, you know what I'm saying?
The basketball phenomenon known as the Kid may never have happened, if not for a bizarre chain of real-life events that could only have happened in the heart of Dixie.
It's this country, it's the dirty South.
He was born in Greenville, a town so tucked away in the mountains of South Carolina that Confederate deserters came here to hide during the Civil War.
It's a beautiful city. That's why I call Greenville such a green city.
In the early 70s, Shirley Garnett worked the production line at the 3M plant, where she fell in love with a local hero. O. Lewis McCullough would father her only son.
He was a very prominent basketball player, highly sought after athlete. Yes, he was one of the stars during our era.
He was about 6'5", really, really shoot the ball. Was really, really fast.
I would not say he wasn't in his life, but they weren't as close as they should have been.
My mom never bashed him, and she never talked down on him. I always tell people this, my mom was my mom and my dad.
Kevin was the second of Shirley's 3 children. When he was 4, he met his best friend for life, Jamie Peters, nickname Junebug.
Jamie had a Mickey Mouse watch. Did he tell you about the Mickey Mouse watch?
I remember he had a Flintstone watch.
It was Mickey Mouse. I remember well, it was Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse type calculator watch, you know?
Bud left the watch with Kevin, and they have been friends ever since.
By the time Kevin was 12, his mother had remarried and moved the family to the suburb of Malden, into Bug's neighborhood.
It was a neighborhood where the blacks were just, I would say, the middle class. And there weren't many blacks in Malden, by the way.
She quit the factory and started her own business, a beauty shop she ran out of the house.
She used to have us doing little odd jobs like sweeping up hair on the floor, you know, collecting towels and washing them.
I used to sterilize the combs, take the wraps off the rollers. A lot of good stories in the women's salon, better than the barbershop, to tell you the truth.
Growing up, Kevin towered over kids the same age. He looked like a basketball player long before he could ever play.
I was terrible. You think you just grab the ball, you shoot, and it goes in, and it's not that easy.
But basketball was the neighborhood game. Kevin and Bug became regulars at Springfield Park.
I got just beat down, just outplayed and just embarrassed a lot of times. You know, I've always been competitive, and it just drove me.
We played from sun up to sundown.
First thing you hear in the morning, being that we live across the street from, is basketball, bouncing.
Kevin, put that ball up.
On Basswood Drive, his game would grow by leaps and bounds.
Everybody was like, you know, why don't you go out for varsity, whatever. But I knew my mom wasn't going to let me play. I just knew.
My mom was a type of mother who really wanted us to focus on school, and anything other than that, or that would take our mind off of that, she just wasn't having it.
There's 2 things I'm scared of in life. That's God and my mom.
He knew. I would have said no.
With his best friend's encouragement, Kevin secretly showed up for the basketball tryouts his freshman year.
How can Kevin not play on the team? He had to be on the team, yeah.
They would always send a permission slip home to sign, but Bud would always be the one to sign the permission slip.
But organized basketball is nothing like the playground.
First day of practice, we didn't touch a ball. Second night of practice, we didn't touch a ball.
There's more to playing basketball than shooting a basketball and dribbling it.
I could tell right away he was like my mom. Wanted to be in control, would let you know that this is his gym, he doesn't need you.
Whether he liked it or not, Kevin thrived on the discipline.
I could teach him a drill at practice, and he could teach it as good as I could the next day. I mean, it was locked in.
I just had this mentality that I'm a kid and I'm here to be seen, not heard. You know, that's how my mom taught us to be.
But he could not hide his talent. As a freshman starter playing against boys 2 and 3 years older, Kevin averaged 13 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 block shots a game.
You dream of coaching somebody like that. You dream of coaching somebody that you can send to a big school.
College coaches 1,000 miles from Malden would know about Kevin's potential before his mother ever even knew he played a game.
I always put my bag outside my window.
He would be like, Ash, I'm gonna go up to the park for a little while. Could you just tell Mom I'm at Bug's house or something?
He would leave the game and go home and climb through the window in his bedroom as though he never had left to play.
That's how I went for like a year and a half, almost 2 years.
But the double life would catch up to KG. His newfound celebrity would make him a target.
Kevin got pointed out. Of course, you know, the first person you're gonna see is gonna be him.
Here you facing 15 to 20 years, can you imagine?
And the only thing I can remember hearing is my mom's voice like, don't get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time.
kid is known for his game face. It's a childlike exuberance. It can be taken to a frightening extreme. But Kevin Garnett began his basketball life as a much different player.
The way I was taught, it was like you go out and try to rip somebody's head off and throw an elbow, and I wasn't taught to do it with joy,
In 1992, KG was a freshman playing on the varsity team for Coach Duke Fisher in tiny Malden, South Carolina.
I dunked the ball, I would hit a three, and I would celebrate, and he would stop practice, and I would run while the other people practice. So he sort of broke you down mentally, just to let you know that you'll never get bigger than the team, because without the team, you're nothing. I still use that to this day.
Coach Fisher knew exactly what he had.
I had played some at North Carolina, and so I called Dean Smith. I said, he's about 6'7", and he's just a freshman. And he can shoot, rebound, pass, you name it.
We sat in total amazement watching this young man play.
It was Bob Gibbons' job to find the best high school talent in the country. He and a colleague stumbled onto Kevin in 1993 while scouting another player from a town 20 miles away.
We met with Duke Fisher. I said, I think Kevin's a junior. He said, no, he's just a 10th grader. And that made it all the more amazing what he was able to do.
I thought he had an all right game. They thought he was fantastic. And they invited him to Nike camp. That was his sophomore year.
In the basketball world, Kevin was about to become a household name. In his own home, his mother had no idea he was even on a team.
I'm gonna tell you how I got caught. My mom was doing some young lady's hair, and she needed her hair done before the game.
They told her that Kevin was playing, and she was like, no, I know everything about my kids. And they was like, no, he's playing and he's good and this and that and the other.
So I got in the car, and the first thing my mom said, go to the school.
She was like, I don't understand why he wouldn't tell me, and he knows I don't want him to play basketball. It's just going to take up too much time in practice, and she was just rambling.
And I walked around in the back of the gymnasium, and you just hear the noise and all the drama.
When you see her come in, you automatically think the game about to stop.
I think Bud gave Kevin the eye that Mom was at the door. And all of a sudden, he looks up. And the people in the gym, they didn't know what was wrong because he sees me.
She looked right at me. She said, your ass is mine when you get home.
But in that moment, Shirley Garnett saw her only son in a brand new light.
It was unbelievable to me to see him playing ball like this, dunking. Dunking.
I was scared to go home.
I just became his biggest fan, and I'm his biggest critic. Still to this day, it applies.
By age 16, he was not just Shirley's son, he was Malden's.
Kevin kind of reminded me when he was coming through Malden, bringing a town together, bringing a community together.
It was more than the whole town of Malden. It was the whole county of Greenville, and it spread to the whole upstate, really. He was known by everyone.
Kevin was a complete unknown in Indianapolis that summer. He accepted Bob Gibbons' offer to attend the Nike All-American camp.
Kevin walks in, and I start laughing. I said, hold up, man. How you gonna give me this cat, man? He's like 6'10" and super skinny. And I grabbed his forearm and said, what's this?
From Malden, South Carolina.
As a first-year coach at the camp, William Wolf Nelson was given a low-profile team to compete in the week-long tournament.
It was the year Allen Iverson came after he had been charged with assault back in his hometown of Hampton, Virginia. And that was the first time that a camp all-star game was nationally televised.
He has the reputation of perhaps being
Iverson
the best
had a reputation. Garnett made one in a matter of days.
Garnett, who delivers to tie the contest.
Kevin dunks on somebody, and I called him to the side. I said, Kevin, come here. Come over here. Kevin runs over there. You know, like, did I do something wrong? I said, what was that? That was a sissy dunk. The next time you dunk it, you want to dunk it a little bit harder, man. I mean, I need some excitement. I need some emotion.
And with that, the kid was unleashed.
Oh, man! Samaki Walker finds Garnett. Look by Walker. Go a little slip screen off on the inside, and again, another dunk, and this time Kevin Garnett buries it.
He was the best player of the best of the best. He became an overnight national figure.
When he came back home, it was like just a different kid as far as basketball goes, man. It was like, it was different.
I'm in books and Streets and Smith and honorable mention and whatever.
It got to the point where he got so much mail when he was a junior that they'd send it to me. And I thought, golly, this is great. I've never gotten this much mail in my life.
Recruiters were relentless.
I changed telephone numbers every time, but they still would get it. One guy called me one night. I'm not going to call his name. He's a big coach. He said, man, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's changing phone number. We have sources.
After his junior season in 1994, Kevin was named South Carolina's Mr. Basketball, the first time an underclassman had ever won the award. His future seemed as rock solid as the granite surrounding Greenville.
Kevin wanted to attend college. That was his dream. He wanted to attend school.
That dream began to slip away. The last week of school at Malden High.
I see these cats fighting, so it's bugging myself. Dang, he getting beat down.
It's like a blur now, because everything started happening so fast after that.
Kevin Garnett has a history in these halls. Something happened here that would set him down an unexpected path.
There was a little racial tension going around at school. You don't really know what to think about at the time.
A small southern town with a big-time basketball prospect. Malden, South Carolina would implode in the spring of 1994.
It was last day of school for seniors. In the school, you get like a 15-minute break. So usually when the break comes, you know, you get to go downstairs, get you like a little snack or something. You know, look at the chicks. Holler at your boys, y'all down there cracking jokes for about 10 minutes, whatever. So on this certain day, you know, seniors got this thing where at the end of the year, you know, they're seniors, they about to graduate. You know, whoever they got problems with, you know, they go find this person and, you know, they get it on.
One kid who got roughed up was white. By day's end, 3 black kids were in jail, charged with lynching in the 2nd degree.
Lynching, by definition, is mob action. It's action by 2 or more people to commit a violent injury to another person.
It's a statute from the Deep South, originally intended to prevent mob actions by whites against blacks.
It's still a law, and it's still in our discipline code. We don't call it lynching in the school district. We may call it ganging, but we don't call it lynching. But the law itself does say lynching.
I know it connotes a lot of bad things, but in fact, it's many people are charged with lynching in South Carolina. It's basically fighting.
Under the law, anyone judged to be part of the mob who does not try to stop the violence can also be charged with lynching.
As the investigation materialized through the police department and us, we did learn that Kevin was with the group.
It was like a lot of us, down there while that was going on. And of course, the first person you're gonna see is gonna be him.
Next day in school, a couple of teachers come up to me. It's like, yo, we heard that, the police want to talk to you and you was caught in this altercation or whatever. What happened?
And we sat in my doorway with him in a chair and me in a chair, and he just said, I didn't do anything. I was just there.
Kevin always wanted to be accepted. He felt odd because of his size and because of his notoriety, and he just wanted to be one of the fellas.
Here's a guy 6'11" who stands very popular in school, who stands out. He's the star basketball player. If he's in a crowd, why wouldn't he be noticed? I mean, he would tower above everyone else.
They came and got him from school, which made it kind of bad.
I pop up and I'm getting ready to dart. I jump over it. A couple of desks. I'm dart. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm running for, right? But I'm shook, so I'm getting ready to jet out. The teacher, Miss Willoughby, she goes, Kevin, don't even run. If you ain't doing anything, don't run.
You're innocent of this. You told me this. Go with them. It'll all work out. And I did ask the police not to put handcuffs on him.
It's like maybe 12 cops out there. As soon as he grabbed me, he started reading me rights and he cuffed me. And he take me down to the county and all that. Everything else is like a blur.
I went down to the Marlin police office, and there sat Kevin, crying. I never have seen him look like that. Just a look on his face, and I'm like, what in the world is happening?
The reigning Mr. Basketball had been charged with lynching in the 2nd degree. Kevin and 5 others faced the possibility of 20 years behind bars.
I know he would never harm a fly, like Kevin. And to go down to the police station here, you facing 15 to 20 years, can you imagine?
Well, it was hard to believe. I thought, it's just something that would go away after a day or so, but they stayed out.
And then, it got worse as far as him not being able to play basketball from Auburn and all this stuff.
He'd been expelled from school. His senior year of eligibility was now in question.
My mom was like, you can't, they had obviously kicked me out of school, expelled me from school. And she was like, I'm getting you out of South Carolina.
I truly believe Kevin Garnett did nothing other than stand there and witness an incident, a schoolyard incident that took place and could have happened in any school in America.
The shock of the charge reverberated all the way to Chicago, site of the 1994 Nike summer camp.
They said, Kevin's not coming back. He's not coming to camp this year. And I'm like, what do you mean Kevin's not coming to camp?
Nike was kind of hesitant because of the Allen Iverson situation the year before that.
Allen got in trouble. They brought him to camp, and the media, they sort of crucified him. How could you? You putting basketball over these kids and this, that, and the other. So I said, well, Kevin has a situation out there where he got involved in the fight. And I started laughing because Kevin, that's not Kevin.
My reaction was, if Kevin Garnett doesn't come to the camp, I'm not staying at the camp. I've got all the rosters, the schedules. I'm getting on the plane and going back to Charlotte. So we better talk about this.
Nike relented. Kevin was reunited with Coach Wolf Nelson.
How you doing? Can I get away?
When he got there, you can tell it was like, I'm ready to roll, man. I'm here, I'm ready to do my thing, and he did his thing. He did his thing.
Kevin solidified his title as the best high school prospect in the country. His mother laid the groundwork for their escape from the South.
She said, I'm not going to sit back and let them destroy my baby. You know, I'm not going to just sit right here and let them just take him down like they're trying to take him down. And they would try to dog him.
It was a destiny call. It was a wake-up call. That's all I can say, and I see it no other way.
Back in South Carolina, Kevin applied for a program called pretrial intervention.
Pretrial intervention is a program, a diversion program for basically first-time youthful offenders.
With the consent of the authorities and the victim of the crime, Kevin was given a chance to clear his name through community service.
If they complete the program, pass all drug tests, don't get into trouble again, do all their public service, then instead of a diploma, they get an expungement order. In other words, they never have to go to court, and their arrest record is expunged.
That fall, he left the South for good. Shirley left behind a husband and a business and moved her son and youngest daughter to Chicago.
I was just so depressed, man. Just totally depressed. You know, I just felt like it was my fault that everything was going down the drain, so to speak.
I really, truly don't believe that we knew what we had when we had Kevin Garnett here at Maul. You know, maybe it was a blessing in disguise, though, because he probably wouldn't have went pro the way he did if he had stayed at Maul and so on.
Had that not happened, would he have gone to Chicago? Would he have gone straight to the NBA? We'll never know.
They called him to kid when he turned pro out of high school. Some sports writers claimed it was a mistake. He'd never make it. Was too young, too immature.
All those people that were saying that couldn't even get through not even half of what I've been through. That was my edge. I was like, it can't be no harder than Chicago. Can't be this hard.
Now, he asked me to come with him. See, that's how he did it, you know. You want to come to Chicago with me? Yeah.
They were 18, country boys who felt betrayed by their little hometown.
Chicago is like nothing I've seen in my life. You know, it's rough.
I remember calling Taylor Bell with the Chicago Sun-Times and telling him, you're getting the best high school player in the country.
In the spring of 1994, Kevin had been charged in connection with a schoolyard fight he claims he had nothing to do with. 4 months later, they fled South Carolina for the Windy City. The school was Farragut Academy. Kevin had latched onto Coach William Wolf Nelson after 2 summers playing for him at the Nike summer camp.
At first, the adjustment was sort of tough for Kevin. Like I said, it's like he's just overwhelmed with, you know, you look at the school and make it to school, and it's like, wow, you know, it's like another world.
First couple of days of school was hard. It's an all Hispanic school. Maybe 4,000 kids, you got 100 black kids.
You know, having things like what we had going on at our school, and then getting to a school and it's like one white kid there. It was like, man, I didn't even know places like this existed.
First day, man, we're in the lunchroom, and the lunchroom is dead silent. We were sitting there at the table, and people are staring at us. and a hot dog just come right over my shoulder. Boom, boom. And I was like, oh, God. And bugging myself, turned around, and he's like, basically told everybody in there, we kick their ass if this happened again.
Everybody wasn't always nice, and Bo was like, these people crazy.
He said, I just can't take it. So he left. And I told Kev, we're not going, we're going to fight to the end.
He had the basketball team, they were like a cohesive group. He had those guys.
Chicago let me be me. Wolf gave me the ultimate freedom to enjoy the game and to show everything you can do.
Kevin wanted to play some hard-nosed basketball. He wanted to be challenged, So where I took him was basically where I grew up there. It was just tough around there. He loved that. He was like, yeah, I like that. Don't take me to the other park no more. I want to go hang out with these guys.
Martin Luther King Jr. kept an apartment in this neighborhood. 1 block from where it burned to the ground stands a youth center more than 100 years old.
This is like the heart and soul of the ghetto, 16th Street, the holy city.
Kids like KG come here to test their game against the neighborhood players.
In Chicago, basketball is the sport. It's like what soccer is overseas. It's like everything.
As a high school player, his game was incomparable. But his future would be determined by how he scored in the classroom.
I'm going to college. I'm not going to skip. It's no later or nothing. When I qualify, I'm going to college, pick a school, and I'm going to be a regular kid. That's it.
One of the factors that led to Garnett changing the whole face of what happens now in the pros and high school basketball players was that he did not have the option to go to college.
I was having difficulties passing the SAT.
To be eligible for a major college scholarship, student athletes must reach a minimum score on one of the standardized college entrance exams.
Every time he'd take it, he would keep getting the same damn score, and I kept looking like.
I just know from talking with college coaches who did get his academic transcript that he was not close.
The dramatic turn their lives were taking did not help.
Keep in mind, I was married at the time, and my ex-husband had a stroke, and he had called me, and I had to come home to take care of that end.
Myself and Ashley was left up in Chicago for about 9, almost like 10 months, and it was hell.
They lived in a 1-bedroom apartment on the south side of Chicago, the same building as Coach Nelson.
We lived on the 12th floor and he lived on the 11th floor, so we were always down there either eating or he was up there, so he was a big help. He was. I don't know what we would have done without him.
Kevin turned to his talent to provide.
Play for some of the cats in the neighborhood just to get money. I would save that money, come in, we'd break the money down. Okay, this is for laundry.
There were times when we didn't really have groceries or, we needed money to wash clothes.
I was doing every little thing I had to do to get through it and grind, and I knew I was weighing down on my mom. It don't matter if I get 30 jobs or if I play for whoever, I gotta do something,
The best high school player in America faced the prospect of junior college, or no college at all. In Chicago, his game had flourished at the expense of everything else. With his mother gone, his money running short and his time running out, Kevin Garnett boldly defied basketball tradition.
May 10th, I declare myself eligible for the NBA draft. I have not yet received my SAT score and expect to receive them in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Some sports writers contended Kevin had been influenced into an irrevocable mistake.
People were asking, how can I allow him to make that move? And he orchestrated the whole thing, and I just sat back and said, Y'all just don't know how smart that guy is. That guy, it's almost like he said, this is where I want to be and this is how I want to do it, and he made it happen.
He scheduled a workout for NBA executives a few weeks before draft day.
We ended up in the lottery getting the 5th pick. We were going to tell everybody that we were going to take this high school kid with the idea that somebody else in front of us would get kind of excited and say, hey, maybe they see something that we don't. Somebody else would take him and we'd be left with one of those other 4 players. About 10 minutes into the workout, I turned to Kevin McHale and I said, hey, we better hope this kid's there at number 5.
Kevin says on draft day, he was standing at the crossroads of his life.
The phone rang. It was Wolf, my coach. In fact, he's like, I was cleaning my office, man. I found these scores in here. Like, what? What scores? Like, the SAT score. I was like, word. He's like, yeah, man, you passed, man. I was like, oh, word. The next 30 minutes, probably the best 30 minutes of my life.
With the 5th pick in the 1995 NBA draft, the Minnesota
Timberwolves select Kevin Garnett
from Farragut Academy in Chicago.
Kevin Garnett changed the game.
Kevin was the one that kind of led the way.
But an invitation to join the club doesn't mean that you belong.
You step up to that jump ball, and you look at the guy across you and say, hey, look, I'm going to kick your ass. And then you got to go out there and do it. There's nobody holding your hand.
I had serious doubts that he was strong enough to play against a Karl Malone or a Shaquille O'Neal. I thought they were just absolutely battering.
Times that I think I was going to make it. I'm going to make this. Just if I got to die here today, I'm going to make this.
Beyond the Glory on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Dodge. You could take life as it comes, or you could grab life by the horns. Dodge.
Some of the most celebrated players in the NBA today began their pro careers before they could even order a drink. They all stand on the shoulders of Spencer Haywood. In a case argued before the Supreme Court in 1971, Haywood won the right for undergraduates to earn a living in the NBA. In the 25 years between Haywood and Kevin Garnett, only 3 other high school kids even tried it.
We went to play the Los Angeles Lakers, and Cedric Sabalas was playing for him. Sabalas was matched up on KG, and he went right around him and scored.
Turns and faces, dribble drive, beats Garnett. Underneath, slammed up, basket counts, foul.
And he turned back to him, he says, you know, this isn't high school. He got that everywhere. People wanted him to fail. No one thought he could make it.
It just fueled me. It fueled me. I was so ready to prove everybody wrong.
Sabalas would finish his career as a journeyman. Within 1 year, 19-year-old KG was a dominant force, a superstar in the making.
Kevin Garnett started this trend of high school players skipping college and going straight to the NBA. Players are now more tuned in to the realities of their chances to be successful in the pros.
The key to KG's success lies in the struggle he endured to get there.
Kevin was a bit unique in the fact that he did leave Malden, South Carolina, and go to Chicago. Was kind of on his own for a while. And I think that served him very, very well.
Kevin made that move out of happenstance. A schoolyard skirmish that could have happened anywhere. A size and stature that ensured he'd be singled out. An archaic law that would threaten his future. And a bold move to save his career.
I want to play basketball and someday be in the NBA. I want to be out of this predicament that I was in.
You can't keep a truly great player down. You can't. It's just not going to happen.
In 1997, Kevin Garnett led Minnesota to its first playoff appearance in franchise history. He was rewarded with the richest contract in professional sports history. From day one, he's played like he has to prove he's worth every penny.
Even at 19, he was a leader of our team. You know, this franchise, when you think of the Timberwolves, you think of Kevin Garnett.
KG has taken the Timberwolves to the postseason each year since then. His team has yet to win a playoff series.
Gotta get past the first round. And it's not a bad question. It's not a question that I'm tired of either. It's the question that's really driving me.
If I can name a bunch of guys that were very, very good players that you guys would probably do a show on, and that 20 years later no one mentions them because they didn't win championships.
His legacy in Minnesota is yet to play out, but the kid will always be a legend in Malden, South Carolina.
He has a desire to be a great basketball player, and he has a sense of history, and he has a respect for the game. Those same things that make him a great basketball player also make him a great person, because he has a sense of community about him, and he wants to be a good citizen.
You know, I always tell young kids who are thinking about coming to the NBA, it is difficult, and you got to maintain and sort of manage yourself. And I don't think young kids sometimes understand that. So when I talk to them, I talk from a real perspective.
Put it on the bottom or top? On the bottom, right?
Not just basketball, because that would probably be the easiest, you know? Life is a whole nother game.